Kính chào các quý vị phụ huynh và các bạn. Lại là một ngày cuối tuần nữa chúng ta lại được gặp nhau tại webinar của Được, việc, Global. Rất cảm ơn quý phụ huynh và các bạn đã dành thời gian buổi tối chủ nhật quý báu của mình để tham gia webinar với chủ đề du học thông minh cùng trường Đại học Limerick của chúng tôi ngày hôm nay. Hey Liam.
Hi there.
Okay, please start.
Okay, thank you very much. Welcome everybody. Xin chào to the session, and you're very, very welcome. So my name is Liam, and I'm the region manager here for the University of Limerick in Ireland. So thank you to 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗏𝗃. It's great to see the videos and see some of the campus and how it looks. I'll give a short presentation that will go through the university and explain a little bit about Limerick and Ireland. If you have questions, feel free to ask. I'll try to speak as slowly as possible in my Irish accent to hopefully make sure you can understand me okay. So my role in the university is to act as a student support officer for any students considering studying here in Limerick, and I work specifically with students from Southeast Asia, so Vietnam, Indonesia and Malaysia. And as you saw from the video, we do have a number of Vietnamese students studying here. I'm actually a graduate of UL myself, so studied politics and international relations here, class of 2006, which so I can speak about being a student in Limerick as well, which is good. So to just give some information about the University of Limerick, or as we call it, UL, it's a public government university here in Ireland. So it's owned and managed and funded by the Irish government, Irish Department of Education. It's ranked in the top 100 young universities of the world. So number 71 globally in terms of universities under 50. We focus on two things in particular. So we try to be very good at two things. The first thing is student experience. So we put a massive focus on ensuring students that come to us have the best possible experience. We do a lot of work on orientation, on the arrivals process, so getting into Ireland and getting down to Limerick, but also, as you saw from the videos, things like clubs and societies, and just making sure students feel welcomed and integrated into the university. So in 2019, I suppose the last normal year of university life, we were rated #1 in the world for international student experience. And we've had very, very positive feedback on students about campus life, even during COVID times. We've had very, very good experiences for students as well, which is great. So that's important. We think that, you know, enjoying your time in university is definitely something that you need to prioritize. But also the second thing that we focus on is career preparation and graduate employability. So put very clearly or very simply, what University of Limerick will offer you is an enjoyable student experience and, you know, excellent career prospects after you graduate. So we're ranked in the top 200 in the world for career preparation and graduate employability. And a key part of that, or one of the key differentiators for UL, is we offer an 8-month paid internship for every undergraduate student. So it's the largest internship program in Europe. And it spans all of our degree courses. So every single program that you do at undergraduate level, you will do an 8-month internship built into the program. It's organized by the university, and it forms a key part of that practical, real-world education that we focus on. At master's level, we do have some shorter, kind of more tailored work placements and internships as well. But for undergraduate, that is a real differentiator for all bachelor's degree students. It's also quite affordable compared to similarly ranked universities in other English-speaking countries. So Ireland is not a very expensive country to study in or to live in. So if you look at the similar costs for UK, USA, Australia, the overall tuition fees and living expenses are lower in Ireland, just by nature of being, I suppose, a slightly less known destination, slightly lower cost of living in Ireland as well, and it can make a little bit of a difference. So the return on investment, so you don't have to spend as much money to get your degree, which can be quite positive. So the average tuition and living expenses per year, around 21,000 euros. That can be higher or lower depending on your situation, but just an average would be around 21,000. Just to give you a quick student spotlight, so just two of our students that have studied recently with us in Limerick. So 𝗨𝗨𝗶𝘃𝗲𝗿𝗀𝗃, he's a Vietnamese student who studied our software engineering program. So he graduated in 2019, and now he's a software engineer in Microsoft in their European headquarters here in Ireland. He just actually started his sponsored visa after finishing his graduate visa program, and is working towards permanent residency here in Ireland. And then Ni, who we heard from, she's one of our student ambassadors. We heard from her in the introduction video. She's just finished a master's in international tourism, and she's now working in Pinterest, so the social media platform Pinterest in Ireland as well. And she's really happy with kind of the support and help she got, not just during her studies, but also in the career or job search part of the process as well. So there are two examples of where you can get to. So how do you get there specifically? What steps do you need to take, or what do you need to do? So I'll talk through them, I suppose, to give some more examples of links that we have across Southeast Asia. So we have 30 ASEAN students on campus on exchange programs. We have exchange courses with the VNU universities in Vietnam, 𝗟𝗶𝗃𝗃𝗿𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃, the University of Economics in Ho Chi Minh, and a range of different universities in partnerships with Vietnam. We have around 30 students from across ASEAN completing their full degree programs, so bachelor's, master's, and PhD. So I think last year we had 7 Vietnamese students, 20 PhD students, and then we're home of some specific student support groups within the region as well. So before I talk about University of Limerick specifically, I thought it'd be worth just giving a quick slide on Ireland. So Ireland is it's an English-speaking country in the EU. So about 99% of the country speak English as their first language, and then we also learn Irish or Gaelic as our second language. But if I'm speaking to my family, or if I go to the shops, or you're in class, everyone speaks English as their main language. It's home to the fastest growing economy in Europe for the last 5 years. And it's a very strong growth, particularly in the areas of technology, so computer science and technology, pharmaceuticals, medical devices, and financial services. But many other areas are growing very fast as well. We're known as the Silicon Valley of Europe. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the cost of education. So because we're a public university, we're fully funded by the Irish government. So education is heavily subsidized or free for Irish students, and then it's a lower cost for international students as well. So our COVID response, so on-campus teaching has resumed since September. So we have been teaching face-to-face on campus since September 2021. We have around 95% of adults vaccinated, so it's quite a comprehensive vaccine rollout. We don't have any lockdown rules or anything like that in place. There is kind of personal responsibility, and testing and masks and so on are provided to people, but we're kind of coming out of the COVID vaccination or COVID pandemic situation. There's free vaccines and COVID testing and healthcare available for international students arriving into Ireland. So there's quite a good support structure in place there, but we have airport collection and assistance with the arrival process into Ireland also. So our location, so many of you will probably know the United Kingdom. So the UK is our closest neighbour. So London to Limerick is about 1 hour by flight. And then Ireland is an island off the UK. The northern part of Ireland is part of the UK, and then the southern part of Ireland is a separate country called the Republic of Ireland, and it's part of the European Union. So it uses euros and is a separate political entity. There's 4 main cities, so Dublin, Cork, Limerick, and Galway are the 4 large cities, and Limerick is in the middle of all 3 basically. So about an hour to Cork, about an hour to Galway, and about 2 hours approximately to Dublin. Limerick is the 3rd largest city in Ireland, and it's home to 17,000 students in UL, with over 3,000 international students. So there's quite a diverse population of students in the university. And then we have 2 international airports. So Shannon International Airport is about 30 minutes away. And that was where duty-free shops were invented, believe it or not. So if you've ever been to a duty-free shop in an airport, they were first invented in Shannon Airport. And then Dublin Airport is about 2 hours away. And there's a direct bus from campus to Dublin and to Dublin Airport as well. So that's quite easy to travel around. You can see a quick picture of Limerick City Centre. It's about 10 minutes away from the university campus. So we have a large suburban parkland campus, which is, you can see it in the picture here. It's an absolutely beautiful place to live and to study. We have basically 6 student villages on the outskirts of the campus, and then all of our teaching buildings and social activities, sports facilities, and so on are all in the center of the campus here. So most of our international students live in our on-campus accommodation, or also there's large residential areas just off campus as well. So we're in kind of a suburban area where there is quite a lot of accommodation available. And then the city center is available, or is viewable there on the top of the photo. It has been voted the best student campus in Ireland for the last 5 years running. And all of our kind of teaching buildings and facilities are in that area. Limerick itself then is a vibrant student city. So there's 4 universities, UL being the largest. So about 1/3 of the population of Limerick is a 3rd level student, believe it or not. So every 3rd person you meet will be also in university and under the age of 24. So it's a really vibrant, really fun, kind of friendly city. Lots of cultural areas to go to, music venues, sports venues, and so on as well. So lots of stuff to get active and get involved in. As seen from the video, clubs and societies is a big part of life in Limerick. So we have everything from the International Society to American football to different sports like swimming, skydiving. We also then just have a tea appreciation society if you want to just sit and drink tea and have chats. There's an esports society. There's something really for everybody. Participation is free, so the university pays for activities, and essentially the activities then are organized and run by the students. So it's a really good way to actually integrate yourself into the local community and local team in Limerick. Our campus accommodation. So we have, as I mentioned, on-campus dorms. So I actually lived in these for a couple of years during my studies. Would highly recommend. Basically, you get your own private bedroom, private bathroom, and private study area. So that's just an example of one of the rooms you would live in. And then basically, you would live in an apartment-style dorm. So you have your own bedroom. There would be a kind of a corridor with five bedrooms on a corridor, and then you would share a kitchen and living space then with 5 students. So that would be kind of your roommates. And then the apartment blocks are essentially student villages. So there would be maybe 300 students in an apartment block, and then it would all have kind of live-in managers, 24-hour security, and spaces there. So it's very, very highly and well kind of well furnished. I studied abroad as part of my bachelor's degree. I studied in the USA, and we got dorm rooms the same size, but there was 3 students per room as opposed to 1 student. So you don't really get your own dorm room in the States normally, whereas in Ireland, every kind of on-campus dorm, you get your own private bedroom, which is good. You have your own privacy, you have secure space, secure storage and stuff like that as well. So it leads to much less issues. We are a comprehensive university. So we're organized into 4 large faculties. So we have Faculty of Science and Engineering, Education, Health Science, Arts, Humanities and Social Science, and Business. And then each of those faculties then is split into 19 schools. So each of these schools offers bachelor's, master's, and PhD programs. And I'll put a document into chat. Excuse me. I'll put a document into chat after the presentation that goes through all of our course offerings, which could be useful. But basically, each of the courses will offer. Actually, I'll do it now while we're chatting. So there's a brochure just in the chat box there, which will have a full course listing. So obviously, listen to the presentation first, but you'll be able to see in more detail what courses we offer. But basically, some of the more popular kind of areas of study would be engineering. So aeronautical, mechanical, biomedical engineering would be very, very popular. Our School of Computer Science and Information Systems, as we saw with 𝗨𝗨𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, is quite popular with international students. And students take everything from AI to cybersecurity, software engineering, games design, and so on. Our School of Physical Education and Sports Science is in the top 50 in the world. School of Law is the top ranked in Ireland. And then our business school recently just got their Triple Crown accreditation. So ACSB, AMBAS, and EQUIS, which are kind of like quality assurance pieces to assess a business school's ability to teach. And puts us in the top 1% of business schools in the world. So a very, very strong school of business as well, which where 𝗍 Nguyen has graduated from as well. So we do get Vietnamese students into that school quite regularly. Just to talk about the structure of our degrees. So it's slightly different to the US model or UK model. So we're kind of like a hybrid between the two almost. So just to talk through how we structure our bachelor's degrees. So in year one, basically, the student would pick their school. So you would pick engineering or business or humanities or whatever the school might be. And basically, in that instance, you would, in first year, you would go into that school. So you would study computer science or engineering or whatever area that you might focus on. You get an overview of that school, and you basically get, you would do engineering 101. You get a kind of a basic summary of the areas of interest. And then you do electives in the different majors that are available within that school. In second year, you pick your major. So you would stream into the major that you want to study. And you would obviously then specialize in that during year two. In year three, this brings in kind of the UL unique selling point. We swap out a full academic semester. We organize a work placement or an internship for you in a company related to your field of studies. The salary is approximately €2,000 per month, depending on the company. Can be higher, can be slightly lower. That's organized by the university careers team, and it's in an area linked to the major that you've picked. So, for example, if you're interested in engineering, you do engineering general first year. You do civil engineering as your specialty in second year, and then you get a civil engineering work placement in third year. In year four, you come on campus back again, you complete the program, you do a research project, normally linked to your work placement, and then you graduate at that stage. You get a visa stay back to find a job in Ireland. It's sponsored by the university, and then fees are approximately 11 to 16,000 euros per year on average. Some of our health science programs, so medicine is more expensive. Our master's degrees, so we have 1 year degree programs. So essentially you study for 2 thought semesters. So usually September to May will be studied on campus. And then from May to August, you would then do either a research project, so write a dissertation paper, or you would do an internship or company-facing project during the summer months. After a master's degree, you get a 2-year visa stay back, which is again sponsored by the university. So you would get an automatic 2-year visa, no matter what your work status is or the program that you studied. Essentially, you get that automatically when you graduate. It's worth noting, so all of our programs intake in September only. So we only do 1 intake per year, but we do offer flexible starts in things like English language programs, foundation program, and things like that as well. And then for masters, our fees normally are between 12 and 15,000 per year on average. Some are slightly higher, some are slightly lower. I'll stop talking soon, don't worry. I'm nearly there. So one of the things I wanted to talk about just before we finish is we have a very, very strong kind of history in industry collaborations. So since the university was founded in the 70s, we've had that internship program built into it. So I know a lot of universities are kind of starting to understand the importance of industry partnerships. Since the university was founded, basically this was built into the fabric of the university. So we've a very strong history in in kind of industry and academic partnerships, both from an education's perspective, but also for internships as well. So we have links to over 2,000 industry partners across multiple sectors, but most of the kind of the big companies would be in the area of things like software, cybersecurity, financial services, pharma, aviation, food science, games design, automotive, medical devices, health services, marketing, and energy. We do obviously offer placements in other areas, but they're the essential support sectors that we work with. Some examples of partnerships that we have would be Microsoft, Pfizer, Intel, Toyota, Jaguar, Land Rover. And then this is, I suppose, just a summary of the visa process as well. So the Irish economy has not really been impacted hugely by the coronavirus pandemic. We've continued to grow during the last 2 years. And what that means for you guys is you can be confident that there's still post-work opportunities, so post-study work opportunities. So we've seen our graduates from the last 2 years have gone into work. So Ni, for example, studied here during the height of lockdown, finished her program and is now working in Pinterest. So it's not something that the job opportunities have dried up, which is good. Part-time work is allowed during studies up to 20 hours per week. So you can work during your studies as well, and you'll earn around 10,000 euros per year if you work part-time. That will cover your living expenses quite comfortably. And then you have a 2-year stay back visa to work. If you want to work longer than that, you can then apply for a what's called a tier 2 visa. So it's a working visa. That's usually a 3-year duration visa. And then once you're working in Ireland for 5 years, you can apply for permanent residency at that stage. So we do get lots of students that go through that full process. So come to study a bachelor's or master's, do the graduate visa, get a sponsored visa, and are now working full-time and have permanent residency here too. So that's an option. There's no obligation. You can use your qualification to work in the UK, in the US, back in Vietnam, or elsewhere in the world as well. Some of the industry clusters. So these are kind of companies that are, the top 10 companies in the world. 9 of the top 10 global ICT companies based themselves in Ireland. 8 of the top 10 gaming companies based themselves in Ireland. 8 of the top 10 global pharmaceutical companies, and so on. So you're doing internships not with Liam Ryan Incorporated. It's companies like Google, Apple, Microsoft, Intel, Dell. These are again just some examples of companies that we have on our placement program. So even along the top line there, you can see Apple, ACCA, Amazon, Accenture, companies like Citibank, Cisco, Intel, Dell, Pfizer, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and so on. So there's a wide range of placement opportunities within the UL kind of umbrella. So that really helps you get ahead of competitors in terms of job opportunities as well. So how to apply? So if you're interested and you want to apply to UL, obviously apply through 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗏𝗏. We work with them closely and look forward to getting kind of their assistance through the process. The documents that are required, we look for postgraduate applications. You need a copy of ID, so passport usually, or national ID, a transcript from your bachelor's degree, and if you've finished your qualification, your degree certificate, 2 letters of recommendation, and a 1-page personal statement kind of outlining your educational background, what interests you specifically in the program, and maybe what your plans are after you graduate, and then proof of English if required. For undergraduate applications, a little bit more straightforward. So just your high school transcript or predicted grades if you haven't finished high school, copy of ID, and your English language if required as well. There is an application fee of 35 euros for all applications. So that's just a processing fee. And basically for entry requirements, so for undergraduate, we do accept the Vietnamese high school curriculum. So you can choose to do basically 2 options with the Vietnamese high school. So we look for a GPA of 7.0 or above. And then either you would take a foundation program, so either one from the university or another approved foundation provider, or you can sit the SAT exam for direct entry onto the first year of our bachelor's. So you have the choice of either, basically. The IELTS requirement is higher for SAT entry. It's only 5.0 for foundation entry. So depending on your own situation, if you're very strong English and very strong academics, maybe the SAT is a better option. If you feel like you need some more support or more English language learning before you start the bachelor's, then the foundation can be a good option. So there's no kind of requirement on either. For students who study in gifted high schools, we take 8.0 or above GPA for direct entry. And then also we accept things like IB, A-levels, US curriculum, and other international programs. We also accept first year of Vietnamese university instead of a foundation. So if you go to university in Vietnam, do first year, and you realize, actually, I want to study abroad, you skip foundation and go directly onto at least onto first year, but sometimes you can get direct entry into second year as well. So that depends on the student and the major that you're studying. You can see there the English language requirements. So IELTS of 6.5 with no score below 6 for direct entry. We also accept Duolingo, TOEFL, and others. And for foundation entry, an IELTS of 5.0 or above makes it much easier to get access if you need some support on the English side. For postgraduates, so if any of you are master's applications, we look for an average GPA of 7.0 or above out of 10, or GPA of 3 out of 4 if you've studied in the international curriculum. Usually you would need to have a bachelor's degree in a relevant area. So if you're going on to do software engineering, we would normally need some sort of computer science background in your studies. However, we do offer in every one of our faculties, we offer what we call a major changer or a general entry master's program as well. So for example, in our faculty of business, we offer a master's in business management, and that is open to non-business graduates. In our faculty of science and engineering, we have a graduate diploma in computer science, which is open to graduates in other areas as well. So we do offer some programs that are kind of allow you to change your specific pathway or change your specialty, but most kind of specialist type courses will require your bachelor's to be in a relevant area or for you to have relevant work experience in that area as well. The English language requirements are the same, and we do also offer what's called a pre-sessional program. So for example, if you have an IELTS of 6.0 and you can't get up to that 6.5 level, we offer a short English language training course in our faculty of English that's taught on campus here. You don't need to retest an IELTS when you finish that. You can just go directly from the pre-sessional course. It finishes on a Friday and you start the master's on the following Monday. So that's quite a good option for some students. We do offer scholarships, and I know there's always questions on that. So I said I'd put a slide in to get ahead of those questions. So our undergraduate scholarship, we have the UL Global Undergraduate Scholarship. So that's €6,000 spread out over 4 years. So it's 1,500 per year. And basically it's given to any student who has a high school transcript of 8.0 or above. So it's based specifically off your high school grades. And then the same for our postgraduate scholarship. So it's €1,500 for the 1 year master's. And if you apply to us with a GPA of 8.0 or higher, or 3.3 out of 4, then you'll automatically qualify for that. So you don't need to make a separate application. Basically, when you apply to UL, you'll be assessed for admission and for scholarship at the same time. We gave out about €1.8 million worth of scholarships last year. So it's quite a common scholarship. We try and give a low amount to as many people as possible to make it accessible, rather than doing 1 or 2 100% scholarships, which can be a little bit exclusive and harder to access. There is also lots of other scholarships available within UL and Ireland. We have everything from sports scholarships. We have the Government of Ireland scholarship. We have performing arts scholarships. We have scholarships for students with the highest GPA during their studies, with students who get the best rated internship during their studies. There's a whole range of scholarship options available, but those are the two most kind of common scholarships that students access before they arrive in Ireland. So time for you guys to start talking. So I'm going to give you just a 5-word summary just before we finish. But it's for the University of Limerick, basically, it's fun, it's safe, you'll get internships and practical education, and you can expect amazing employment opportunities here with large multinational companies after you graduate. This is our kind of old classic logo, which was our first logo, and basically written along the bottom here in Gaelic Irish is 𝗟𝗶𝗃𝗃𝗿𝗃, but basically translated to English, that means wisdom through action. And that really summarizes kind of how we teach. It's all about kind of practical education, getting into companies and applying what you've learned to real world scenarios, which is great. So we're on to the interactive part, and I think I kept it under 30 minutes anyway. So I didn't want to talk you guys to sleep on the Saturday evening. So if you have questions in chat or anything from you guys, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Liên. Vâng, và bây giờ sẽ là phần Q&A. Thì quý vị phụ huynh và các bạn học sinh có câu hỏi cho thầy Liam thì có thể bật mic hỏi trực tiếp hoặc là ghi câu hỏi qua phần chat box. Chúng tôi sẽ ưu tiên những câu hỏi trực tiếp trước, và mọi người có thể hỏi trực tiếp bằng tiếng Anh hoặc là có thể hỏi bằng tiếng Việt.
Chào chị ơi, em là Vân Anh, em muốn có một vài câu hỏi trực tiếp với anh Liam được không ạ?
Có thể đặt câu hỏi trực tiếp với Liam.
Hi Liam, are you there?
Yes, yeah, I am indeed.
Hi, I'm Vân Anh. I'm a student from Hanoi. Firstly, thank you for the presentation, a very comprehensive one today. And thank you for coming in for during the weekend. I would like to share some of the information about myself first, so you would have an overview about what I have studied and my working experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I actually have earned my bachelor in management in University of London. It's
Mm-hmm.
under London School of Economics.
Yeah.
And also I have 2 years of working experience in a public policy consulting firm, the Power Group Asia. Yeah, if you've ever heard of it.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if I could enroll in one of your master programs, and which one among your programs that you recommend for me that I can earn a career opportunity in Ireland. Yeah, I would like to hear your opinion on that.
Yeah, so we have a couple of kind of specific programs that might be of interest. So we have a Masters of Economics Policy Analysis. So are you looking to kind of focus in the policy area, or what's kind of your plan in terms of career development?
Actually, public policy consulting on the whole. Maybe for the what is that for the affairs department in companies.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So let me show you what this looks like. So this is kind of we have obviously a kind of a summary of all of our master's programs. This is our business school and these are kind of masters that are offered. So there is a fairly wide range of offerings, but I think this one might be suitable for you. Just to have a quick look at anyway. So it's a Masters of Science in Economics and Policy Analysis, and basically just to show you kind of what would be taught during the program. And this format really applies to all of our master's courses, but this would be what it would look like. So semester one, you would basically take 5 subjects. So you would do things like microeconomics, macroeconomic theory, applied data, and then kind of, during applied data, that would obviously include visualization and presenting and consulting with that. Public finance and regulation could be quite useful. Econometrics, I really always struggle to pronounce that, but econometrics is also there. And then you would also do a kind of a research dissertation throughout the 1-year program, as well as an international business workshop, which would kind of be your practical experience as well. So that would kind of focus on policy and policy analysis, the impacts of it, and also kind of the economics in terms of government strategy and so on as well. So that could be something that might be useful for you.
Okay, thank you. I have one more question. So my my bachelor degree is a 3-year program.
Yeah.
And I heard that for Ireland, it's usually a 4-year bachelor program. So does that make me qualified for the program in your country?
Yeah, so basically the duration of the program isn't relevant. It's kind of the level of award. So I know in the UK, in London, oftentimes they'll award an honours bachelor's degree, but during a 3-year duration. So normally that's absolutely fine. The only thing would be if you kind of left with either a diploma or what's called an ordinary level degree in that short time. But normally most of our UK applicants have no issues, so they do a 3-year bachelor's and transfer into our master's directly. And also because you've studied in London, you're exempt obviously from IELTS and stuff like that as well. So because you studied through English in the UK, you don't need to retest an IELTS or anything like that. Okay, so the IELTS is sort of like waived or not necessary. Exactly. Okay. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Can I ask you like one last question on Absolutely. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, the internship opportunities. Because I'm aware that the policy consulting scene is not a very popular career in for students in general. So what are the opportunities available for internship if say in UL?
In policy, I don't know the specifics in terms of kind of what options are available. However, what I would kind of advise, if you have like really specific kind of course questions like that in terms of who offers or what kind of offerings are available, just to show you, so that the program basically will have a course listing here. The course director, so this is the professor of the program, will actually list their email address on there. So Dr. Dara is really friendly, very open, and is happy to answer questions. So I don't want to kind of give you incorrect answers on it, but I'd recommend either emailing Dara or Kathy, and they'll be able to kind of give you a better idea of specific areas that they arrange for the internship, but also where the graduates go into as well. So there's usually a part here on the site, so graduate profile, where students go into. So who employs our graduates? So these would be kind of companies that would employ our graduates within the last couple of years. So Central Bank of Ireland, Irish Government Economics and Evaluation Services, Commission, Central Statistics Office, Bank of Ireland, and others. So there is obviously, these would be kind of brought in from where people were employed in the last 2 years. So that would give you an idea of who does employ us. But I think if you reach out to Dara or Kathy, they'll be able to answer you kind of in more detail as well.
Okay, sure. Those are very valuable information. I will make sure to approach what is her name again? Dara?
There's Dara is a guy's name, so Dr. Dara Flannery, or Kathy Ryan is the other coordinator as well. I've actually popped the link into chat. If you want to click on that, that'll have all the information on there as well.
Okay, I will make sure to contact her to get more detailed information. Thank you very much. Yeah, fantastic. You can return to other students. Thank you.
For the questions.
Have a great evening. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so there's a couple of questions coming into the chat box, which is great. Thank you. Do you want me to read them out, or and I'll answer them, or what way do you want to do it? So first question, so what is the cost of living and renting in Limerick City? So basically, it depends a little bit on the cost of rent and stuff like that, but we have two types of cost for rent on campus. So if you live in a 6-person apartment, the cost of rent per year is around €5,000. If you live in a smaller 2-person apartment, so you have your own private bedroom in both, but you only share the kitchen living room either with 6 people or with 2 people, that's around €7,000. So it's slightly more expensive if you want to live in a smaller apartment. And then we kind of give an estimation of around €3,000 euros for food and stuff like that for the year, and then transport around 1,000 euros. So the overall cost is around kind of 8 to 10,000 euros in total for living and renting in Limerick. So that's kind of the rent plus your bills plus food would be covered by 8 to 10,000 euros. So if you work part-time, as I said, you can work 20 hours per week. The minimum salary you can be paid is 10 euros 40 per hour. So if you get paid 10 euros 40 per hour by 20 hours per week by 52 weeks, it's around 10,500, 10,600 euros. So you can cover that cost of living by working part-time. But you know, there is obviously a focus on your studies during your masters as well. So depends on what your preference is. But you can work part-time, yes, and you can earn around 10,000 euros per year. That's even, you know, so 10,000 is kind of working in retail or shops or cafes or restaurants. Obviously, if you have professional experience or are coming in with a qualification, that can go up higher as well. Okay, so if I want to find jobs with a high salary, what majors should I apply to? That's a difficult question. So what I always suggest to people is you're more likely to be successful in something that you enjoy, that you're passionate about, and you like. You can find, you know, high salaries in many areas. So I would always kind of recommend students to kind of follow their passions rather than follow the money. So, you know, money can change, and different professions can become more or less important. So in Ireland, I suppose the highest average salaries for graduates would be in 3 areas. So computer science and software is one. Kind of the medical devices engineering, so things like mechanical engineering, biomedical engineering, bioscience would be another, and then things like financial services, so business or commerce or something like that, accountancy, can also lead to good starting salaries for graduates. However, your career, I suppose, will only be as successful as your own kind of interest and your own ability. So pick areas that you're interested in and you're passionate about, and that's the major you should choose. I hope that makes sense, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Okay, so next one is 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. I'm interested in a master's degree in pharmaceutical industry. I have more than 10 years working in commercial and marketing for some big pharma companies, although I haven't got a medical background. I'm considering to take an MBA or just a master in healthcare. Can you help to share more options? So are you looking to work in the marketing side of that area, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, or is it to work kind of as an engineer? Are you looking to get into that kind of specific? What area are you looking to get into in that industry? I suppose would it be able to help a little bit better?
Oh, hi. I'm working in marketing, like products, portfolios. Yes. Yeah.
So and you're looking to stay in the kind of the marketing field within that sector. So to kind of, you're not looking to transition into engineering. Perfect. So let me just find program here. So this would be again within our business school. So we have a master's of marketing, consumption and society. So it's a 1-year master's program within the business school, and it basically goes through kind of like a comprehensive marketing education. So it goes through, you know, obviously digital marketing being very important, but it also then looks at purchasing and the psychology behind purchasing. So why do people actually you know, react to marketing, or how do they react to it as well? So it's not specific to any one sector. So we get graduates from this who work in, you know, large business firms, large tech firms, pharmaceutical firms, and in marketing consultancy as well. So you know, every company that builds a product has to market and has to sell that product. So marketing is quite ubiquitous across many areas, but these would be kind of the subjects that you would study. So everything from digital and social media marketing, kind of teaching you the hard skills in terms of digital marketing and so on, but also then looking specifically at consumption and consumer culture. You're like, how do people buy? why do people buy, patterns in kind of advertisements, and how to kind of get the most out of those things as well. So that's something that's relevant to every sector. So it doesn't really, you know, it's not specific to pharmaceuticals, but it's applicable to that area as well. So that could be a good option for you. I'll put a link to that in chat if you want to have a look at the program in more detail.
It's about all about marketing in general, not only apply for healthcare, right?
Yeah, it's not specific to healthcare in terms of the kind of the promotion and marketing. It is kind of a broader, it's a broader program really that doesn't look specifically at healthcare. It's kind of marketing in general. We don't really offer a specific, I suppose, kind of healthcare marketing or healthcare business type program. We do offer some kind of engineering, kind of health informatics or health professional education and stuff like that, but nothing kind of in the marketing sector. But most marketing skills are transferable. I think if you have the sector knowledge, so you're coming in with work experience in the pharmaceutical industry, that's quite transferable. So actually doing a master's in the marketing piece, you can use your experience from the pharmaceutical sector to then get into a job in one of those companies as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, got it. Thank you. So
Perfect.
about the management or like MBA, do we have any options for that or no?
Yeah, we do indeed. So another course I could suggest is, so we have an MBA program. It's an executive MBA, so it's a part-time 2-year program. So it's not always suitable for students who want to kind of study straight away. But what I would recommend is this program here. So it's a Master of Science in International Management and Global Business. So this would kind of focus on large multinational companies, how they operate, but also how they sell and how they market as well. So it kind of would build kind of on your management skills within a multinational company. So looking at international corporate finance, international cross-cultural management, leadership, influence and change, international marketing, global business strategies, and international human resource management as well. So that would very much focus on the types of companies that are based in Ireland. So, you know, pharma companies like Johnson & Johnson and Stryker, Regeneron, those type of firms would be large multinationals. And actually, you know, you could work in the kind of the marketing or sales wing of that company with this type of program, and it's aimed at middle management and senior management within those type of firms.
Okay, sounds interesting. Thank you. Can you share me this one?
I'll put that link in as well. Yeah, absolutely. So there's the marketing and then international management and global business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So Phoebe Nguyen, I have a Duolingo score overall 110. Production has 75 and other modules have above 95. Shall I be able to apply for UL in a master's program? Yes, to the best of my knowledge, the requirement is an overall score of 110. I'm not sure if there's a requirement by module to score modules. I think it might be 90. But what you can either do is retest in Duolingo, or you can apply basically and ask the course director for an exemption if there's a small discrepancy like that. Sometimes the course director can give an exemption against the English language requirement. So yes, you can absolutely apply. And then if you get an unconditional offer letter, fantastic. If you don't get an unconditional offer letter, you can send me your details and I'll make an appeal basically to the course director to reassess. And then otherwise you can retest in Duolingo. You can combine 2 certificates together. So as long as your module score then is above 90, in the next test, you can combine those 2 scores to meet the English language requirement. So there's a couple of ways there, Phoebe. The last option is you can also do a pre-sessional English course. So I mentioned you can do an English course starting in August, and it runs up until the start of the master's program as well. So there's a couple of different options for you. But yes, I wouldn't exclude yourself just because your production score is slightly low. It doesn't make too much of a difference. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Phoebe. If not, pop another comment into chat. Due Quen, I'm studying advertising, PR, and branding in Vietnam University. So I want to ask, what major should I learn in Ireland to have a high job opportunity and high salary? So if you're doing advertising, PR, and branding, then something like marketing can be quite good. So we get a lot of students that do kind of the PR and advertising piece, either in social media companies like Facebook or LinkedIn, Twitter, Google, all have their European headquarters here in Ireland. But also you can work in marketing companies or advertising branding agencies. You can work in in-house marketing team in different multinational companies as well. So that marketing consumption society could be quite a good option for you if that's what you're good at and you're strong at and passionate about. That's a good way to get a job opportunity and a good salary to start with as well. So that would be my recommendation, Due Quen. So look at kind of based on my background, I consider studying advertising, promotion, and marketing management. Yeah. So the marketing consumption society course that I put into chat would be the one I would recommend. I think in terms of it's most focused on that kind of piece. So PR, advertising, and marketing are all covered, and it would allow you to kind of specialize and go into kind of more senior roles within that type of area. So Quinn Van, do master's programs have paid internships? So unfortunately they don't. So the paid internship program that we arrange, it's paid because it's a full-time 8-month placement, and it's in companies kind of that have that set up as a full-time job. For the master's programs, time is obviously much shorter because it's a 1-year course. So they're normally 2 to 3 week placements where students kind of get an overview of what the company does. But they're not normally paid internships. So it's more kind of building your professional network, introducing yourself as a potential employee of the company. It's kind of like a working interview more so than a paid internship, because it's quite short, only a couple of weeks normally. And then the second question, can you tell me more about life and entertainment in Limerick? Yes, absolutely. So Limerick is, as I said, it's the 3rd largest city in Ireland. But compared to Vietnam, the city sizes are much smaller here. So it's a little bit quieter. So it's a very kind of very green, very kind of beautiful city. So lots of trees and greenery and stuff like that, as you've seen from the videos at the start. It's a very kind of friendly place as well. So lots of people, one of the things our students comment on is, people walking past will kind of wave hello and say hi and start up a bit of a chat. The city center is then, has everything you need. So it has everything from shops and restaurants and bars. There's a couple of boba tea places that have started up and good kind of Southeast Asian restaurants and stuff as well. So you can get pho, chicken pho and beef pho and stuff like that in the city. For entertainment, there's a really, really strong kind of music culture over here. So people play, live music. If you've ever heard of the Cranberries, so Zombie or Dreams are 2 really famous songs. They're a Limerick band, and lots of different kind of live music sessions and events and concerts and stuff like that. Ed Sheeran is playing here at the end of the month in our football stadium. And there's kind of concerts. I think Justin Bieber or someone else is here just after that. So there's kind of those big, massive concerts as well, but a really big culture of kind of small gigs. There's a couple of art galleries and museums. And if you're into sport, there's lots of stuff from football to basketball. Rugby is huge over here as well. So really depends. I mean, you can do everything from kind of the city center lifestyle to hiking and mountain climbing and stuff like that, which is only a couple of minutes out the road as well. So quite a wide variety of stuff. I would warn people, I suppose the city is much smaller than you'd be expecting in Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh. It's kind of most similar to Da Nang, I think, in Vietnam. It's kind of smaller, it's all lower down, it's a bit more spread out. but it's a really beautiful city. I've lived in New York, and I've lived elsewhere in the world, and I always come back to Limerick. It's a really kind of friendly, beautiful place to live. Okay, so I think that's all the questions I've seen anyway. You're welcome, Phoebe. Any more questions, guys, or anything else you wanted to ask? You can unmute your mic and ask on the microphone as well if you prefer.
Quý anh chị và các bạn còn có thêm câu hỏi gì dành cho thầy Liam không ạ? Ok, vậy thì cũng không còn sớm nữa thì em xin phép kết thúc buổi webinar hôm nay tại đây. Và nếu như mọi người có câu hỏi gì thêm thì có thể liên hệ với Được Global để có thể thì Được sẽ giải đáp và hỗ trợ anh chị và các bạn thêm ạ. Và chúc các anh chị và các bạn có một cuối tuần thật là tuyệt vời bên gia đình. Thank you, Liam. I hope that they will be students at University of Limerick in 2022 or 2023 or near future. Yeah. Thanks again for your time today, and have a great weekend.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the time and some very, very good questions. You guys are obviously have done your preparation. If you have any follow-up questions, obviously speak to the 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗃𝗃 team, and they can obviously link in with me directly. I'm happy to do one-to-one calls with you guys if you're interested and want to come to Limerick. We do understand it's a complicated process when you're studying abroad, no matter where. So I'm here to help and hopefully bring you through the whole thing and see you here in September or next year if you're planning a year ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See ya.
See you guys. Bye bye.